Okay, guys, so in this lesson, I'm going to be going through how to make the most of your readings. I'm going to use some examples from what I've already uploaded. So, there are three main things that we want to do when we're doing our readings. Okay, when I pick up something, I already know something about off center. So, when I am looking at my reading, what should I do? I should always pick out new information. Okay, is it something new that I learned? Two, I should make connections with what I already know. So later I will demonstrate what I mean to say is if you see a new idea, you should connect it to what you already know. It should build on your current understanding of the text. Okay. The third step is to synthesize and to, shall we say, weaponize it. Okay. To think about how it can be used. Okay, here we're talking about exam format. So steps 1 and 2, here we are looking at what's going on in to how to get smarter, and this is about applying it to the exam. Okay, so now I'm going to look at the one on theatrical devices. Okay, and I'm going to demonstrate how I annotate it, how I make sense of it. All right, so if you want, you can take out your own one and you can see how I do it. Okay, so I must start by bearing in mind that I am not talking to the interview is about the playwright. Okay, and style, this is my big area of study. And here I'm talking about theatrical devices. So straight away I know that it must be about the theater. Okay. So there's a convention of breaking the fourth wall. So I can highlight, I can say this is a technique I should pay attention to. Okay. So I read through. Okay. And Harashama is telling me about what's going on. Okay, there's no formality of a blackout and announcement. Okay, so I pick out something that new that I am figuring out. There is no formality. Oops. Okay, it goes straight into V not addressing the audience. So here what can I say? It goes straight into, so I might say something about, I might observe something. It is a sudden start. And also there's no formality. So I could make a conclusion there's a suspension of convention. So I'm picking out something. Okay, I did not know this so clearly. Okay, or rather I knew it, but I hadn't processed it, right? Okay, cool. There's no starting scene. Okay, so it's not normal. So what could we say about the suspension of convention? Maybe this, now I'm trying to make sense. In purple means I'm trying to make sense. Could this be similar to the play, to the theme? Where it challenges what is normal. Okay, so here now I'm making sense of the fact that style is starting to feed into theme. Okay, so I go on and I have a look at what else the text is saying. Okay, there's no conventional start. Okay, so I'm reading through and says the action. Okay, now I'm at this paragraph. The audience is constantly experiencing different stage devices. Okay, this sounds interesting. This sounds like a technique, right? There's an effect, and what is, of course, every time I look at the technique, I want to know what is the effect. Okay, so what's the effect? And if I'm not sure, it's okay. I can just leave it, and I can come back to it later. Okay, then I read through. Okay, these are examples. There isn't a category. There isn't a conventional end. Again, there is no conventional end, which I want to think about effect. Again, what is the possibility of there's no conventional end? Okay. Now I find I'm reading something. So the breaking the fourth wall device becomes much more than that. It breaks the boundary between performer and audience. It connects the play to real life in a deeper way. Okay, I am seeing a relationship here. And what is this relationship? There's a performer and audience boundary. And Shama is saying that it parallels the real life, okay, play and real life boundary. and he's saying that we have this parallel, okay, and when I break the fourth wall, okay, I am causing myself to question this, right? Does that also mean I am now questioning the boundary between what is play and what is real? Okay, and if when so my thinking is this, so now the boundary is being challenged. What is the conclusion? Okay, that there is no distinction. The distinction is blurring. So as the audience member, what am I forced to audience is forced to consider? Forced to think about play in their real life. Okay, so that is how. Okay, so I say again, what I just did was I tried to figure out what was the example, what is the argument which Sharma is trying to make, and I picked out that there was a relationship, and then I started to analyze that relationship. I tried to make sense of it, make connections to what I know about the audience Sharma wanting the audience to be challenged. Okay, so there's an example of how I would do this. Okay, let's look at another one. Um, this is about context, right? Okay. Can I ask about symbolism? Okay, I'm looking at this page. If you're not here, you can just wait. You can take out your own notes and flip to this, or you can just look at my example and play back again later. Okay. So now we're talking about symbolism. Again, it is technique. So whenever we look at technique, we can always highlight it and say technique. Okay. To what end? Okay. So can I ask about symbol of the bird? The bird suggests freedom. Yes. But a bird that can fly away, a bird suggests entrapment. Saloma is like a bird because she's always in her room. So I have a relationship here. Saloma and room is like bird in a cage. So I should start making some connections between room and cage. Then after I read the next line, Vinod also sees existence as an entrapment. Vinod and existence. Okay. So just by reading this, what did I find out? I found out that there are parallels between Vinod and Saloma. Both of them might feel as if they both relate to the idea of being a bird. Okay. However, they see it differently, right? So every time I have a parallel relationship here, I always want to think about what is the difference and what is the similarity. Okay, so I can just leave it here. If I can't figure it out, it's okay. I know that I must come back and answer these questions. Okay. And then it says about being trapped, right? They're also being trapped. So it is not just about birds, it's also about being trapped and the bird needing freedom. So from here, this alone, I'm starting to expand my understanding of what does it mean when Saloma says she wants to be free. So I should pick out also freedom. I can fly away. Okay, entrapment. Okay, if you notice when I highlight, I'm not highlighting everything. I'm only highlighting the keywords because then I can pay attention to this. Does it appear in the play? How can I use it? What is it? What does it mean? Okay, does this allow me to understand a certain scene a little bit better? Does it allow me to make a bigger point about Vinod and Saloma? Allow me to understand the play in a more complex fashion. Okay, so that is what we want to do here. Okay, let me give you an example. Okay, what was the information that I picked out? Just now I was looking at Vinod's, and okay, so I was looking at the cage, right? So there is the bird and a cage. Sorry. There's a bird in the cage, right? And there's also Vinod and his existence. And there is Saloma in her room. Okay, so I might say something about the bird. It desires freedom. Sorry. But if we see this, Saloma desires freedom from her room. So what does freedom mean? Freedom might be going out to work, because, and this I know is true from play. But if Vinod wants freedom from existence, then the question is it death? Okay, so maybe that is what it is saying, that Vinod is free here. And that is something I can say. And why is this new? Okay, from this connection that I made, how does it increase my understanding of V naught? That V naught is finally, maybe I can say, V naught is free. At the end of the play, it is not all doom and gloom. Yes, he died, and which is tragic, but is there also a sense that now he is free? Okay, so now there are two, which then leads into two new issues, right? So, which is the tragedy of his death, and versus the freedom of release. And now, as a member of the audience, I am forced to deal with this. And what do you think Shama wants me to do? Why does Shama want me to deal with this tension? Okay, what is he trying to say? Okay, maybe that freedom of release is what I want, but that's because I haven't dealt with the tragedy of Vinod's death. Okay, so that's an example of how I would be trying to, point 3, you can see here, I'm trying to synthesize what I learned about this thing about symbolism. Okay, so take your time, guys, to go through the notes. Okay, you don't have to rush. Nobody's asking you to read every single thing. The objective is to learn something new. Okay, you do not have to learn every single thing. Okay, learn something new. All right. Okay, happy reading.